There's great power in prayer, even more in group prayer. This is the foundation of the Unity Movement and our church. Our prayer ministry has close to over 100 active participants supporting our community and the world. There's great synergy in us coming together consistently. Beyond our own personal experience with prayer, there's so much evidence to its impact on the collective consciousness. The Maharishi effect shows that if 1% of the population meditates, it produces measurable improvements in the quality of life for the whole population. The world is going through a lot of change. We must go to the unchanging realm of the divine and help co-create the best outcome for the most impactful event taking place. Let's join together to support this cause. Thank you for joining us. Your presence, your consciousness is summoned for humanity at this time.
Happy Sunday. I know it's a little bit ominous start to the day, a little bit of rain, but we're so happy to see everybody out here. We're celebrating our oneness, our shared divinity, and even for those who are joining us online, you are a part of that as well, and we thank you for tuning in and making unity an essential part of your Sunday here. If you look around and you're wondering, where are all the kids? Well, they're here in the building, they're just not here. Today is the first day of the new Sunday school curriculum, Nacho Ordinary Sunday School. And to celebrate, they're working on a little nacho party over there in the fellowship hall. So maybe after the service you can you can make an effort to talk to them. I think they might be joining us here towards the end of the service. And look, we got this beautiful choir all up here in purple. You're going to be hearing a little more about our choir. We're always looking for folks to come join us. So we're back on with the Christmas concert this year, in case you all haven't heard. I know it's been little touch and go here the last few years, but yeah, we are cranking up here and a lot of great things happening. And we want to get this service going, so we're going to get started here. Love is the rule of the day here at Unity, so get up off your feet and join us in here.
Let love rule. You got to let love rule. To let love rule. Let love rule. We got to let love rule. Let love rule. there I pray. From whence I've come, since I've begun, I've got some things to say. You know I love you, dear, and let one thing be clear. Though I may be miles away, I'll always hold you near. On this holy day, let's give thanks and praise that we're together, whatever weather. On this holy day, on this holy day, let's give thanks and give a little praise that we're together on this holy day. To thine own be true, and that means me and you. I've got my brothers, we've got each other, and I thank the Lord we do. On this holy day, let's give thanks and give a little praise that we're together, whatever weather, on this holy, holy, holy day. Let's give thanks and praise that we're together, whatever weather, on this holy, holy day. Let's get together, whatever weather, on this holy day. On this day, let's give thanks, give a little praise that we're together, whatever weather, on this holy day. Please join us now in the welcome song. Welcome into this place. Welcome into this open vessel. You desire to abide in the praises of your people. So we lift our hands as we lift our hearts, as we offer up this praise unto your name. Welcome into this place. Welcome into this open vessel. You desire to abide in the praises of your people. So we lift our hands and we lift our hearts as we offer up this praise unto your name. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
As a reminder, the Healing Circle will be held this afternoon right after the service at 12:30 in the room right next to me, to my left in the green room. This is a spiritual support group, and you can come anytime. You don't have to be coming routinely. You can just drop in, so we'd love to see you. So now let's pray over the names in the prayer box. We stand in faith, invoking the divine presence with every breath that we breathe. Trusting the divine is always with us, fortifies our resolve to live from spiritual truth and in the flow of life. As we exercise our spiritual muscles through our spiritual practices, we strengthen our connection to the divine, to all creation, and to the realm of infinite possibilities. Like a river flowing through the path of least resistance, our lives unfold with ease and with grace. Our spiritual practices open the pathway for the divine to work in and through us, unencumbered and as clear channels. The more open we become, the more we fulfill our life's purpose and become the fullest manifestation of the divine that we are meant to be. May every name in this prayer box and all of humanity open to their divinity and live from grace. With gratitude for these intentions and these truths, we rest in the knowing that peace, love, and harmony are our truest nature. And so we let it be. Amen. Thank you.
There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Let us begin to meditate. Let your body sit comfortably. Feel the presence of your own body in this space. How does it feel? Let us pay attention to the breath, and let's do a technique of focusing and concentrating for a moment and then expanding the mind after we have focused. So the first task is to bring your attention to your breathing, and only to your breathing. gradually letting the mind quiet, letting the body begin to soften and rest. With deep attention to the breath, focused attention. Should the mind wander at all, just bring it back to the breath. We're practicing concentration at this point. So as we continue to focus on the breath, now begin to feel yourself as larger than your body, recognizing that your concentration is within this field of self. It is not all of you. It is an activity inside this field. So extend your sense of self. Beyond the body. As far as it seems to be true. Let us sit for a few moments in this expanded state. And should the mind begin to be too active and to talk too much, bring it back to the breath for a few moments. And when you're ready, move back out into this expanded state. As we sit together in this space.
Give us this day our daily bread. You said you would supply all my needs according to your riches. I have but to ask, and I shall receive. To go from here and share this love you gave to me, to show someone who's lost and help them find their way, the way to truth and faith, so they can be free like me, free like me. Lord, we are your love. Lord, we are your peace. Lord, we are your joy this day. This
Thank you, guys. Thank you. It's a beautiful have everybody here. Thank you for making this a full day. You know, I think when we come together, there's something special that happens. And I've been thinking about that since so many of us are online, and hello to you all who are online, that the presence of being in a place, I looked it up, and the practice of coming together in a spiritual community once a week extends your life on average 4 years and reduces your chances of dying by like 60% in a given year. And it's, or some big number. It's really radical. They've done studies at Duke and several other places around this. And so I really encourage you to come and be in a community that somehow being in the presence of others, being with them, having conversation, perhaps there's something intangible that we don't know that isn't about personal relationship. Maybe there is something special here. It should improve your state of mind and your body as well. And so I encourage people to do that, and even though we have a very consistent group that's online, and not to diminish the value of that, I just want to say being in person is a different experience. And it may be one that helps our attitudes in this time. And so we thought we would talk today a bit about spiritual practice in general. Now, spiritual practice has many, many forms and possibilities, and it's probably as varied as the number of people in this room. But let's start with the basic one. And one of the most fundamental, and one of the ones that you can cultivate while walking around, while talking to others, having breakfast, and that is one of gratitude. And the studies have been shown that if you are in gratitude, it's hard to be in anger at the same time. It's hard to be depressed. And those seem to be two of the emotions that are most common detractors in our life these days. Anger and depression. So let me deal with anger first as I want to talk to you what I heard about social media and its relationship to anger. There's a book written, came out fairly recently called The Chaos Machine. And it discusses the four major groups that are doing social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and what's the other one? Anyway, all four of them use a similar algorithm to entice your eyes to click and to do it again. And what works, because of the nature of human being, is to make you feel threatened and to feel like someone is out to get your group, to identify you with a group and to make you feel like your group is threatened. And if you look at what's happened to this country over the last decade, we have gradually grown more and more tribal. That we have decided we are in a group, not in the group, and we are threatened in our group. It doesn't matter which group you're in, you feel threatened. So there's not like a dominant group that goes, hey, we don't have any problems. Everybody feels like the world is now turning against them, or the other tribe is turning against them. And this algorithm, just not by accident, preys upon our lesser selves, in essence. Our tendency to be in fear and our tendency to group together in a tight band and protect that group. So if you know that, then you might be more willing to not believe it when everything you see in the world, which is filtered through these major ways of collecting data, when you say, well, of course this is true, maybe we should apply the Byron Katie question, can you absolutely know that is true? Because if all your data comes to you through, or most of it, or too much of it even, comes through these ways, then your tendency to be angry and depressed will grow. So as an antidote, don't believe it, even if it seems to be abundantly true. Now I say that because the pace of that is picking up. As they say, it's doubling every so many years. And so if only 10% of your feed is that way this year, then next year, let's say it doubles every 2 years, then in 2 years, it'll be 20%. And 4 years, it will be 40%. In 8 years, how much will it be? Almost half, over half of what you're getting is designed to draw you in to a state of mind that puts you in fear and anxiety. It seems to be working. So we need spiritual practice, not less than we ever did, but more than we ever did. And one of the ways to counteract it is by this conscious attention on gratitude. To be grateful for what you have, or for your friends, or for the weather, or for the fact that you can still move your fingers, or whatever it is that you choose. Find something, many things, little things, big things, to be grateful for, to counteract this tendency. Second, seek humor. I was reading a book by Sadhguru, and I'm going to modify his joke, but here's what he said. So there was a woman in a graveyard wailing at this gravestone, and a minister walks up and says, "Oh, my dear, what's wrong?" She says, "Oh, if she had only not died, my whole life would be so radically different." He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Who was this?" And she goes, "My husband's first wife." So, because our minds can go into the future and into the past and rest there, we can miss the humor of the day, can't we? We can be so concerned about, what might happen, and there is plenty that we can foresee that might happen, and we have plenty that has already happened. So unless we can begin to laugh at ourselves and at the world around us, I think we will tend to move toward anxiety and depression for that reason alone. So let's work on being funny. I mean, I had a new friend over the last couple of weeks, and every time I talk to her, she's laughing, and I'm going, I need to pick up this practice, because I'm always very flat, right? And to laugh would be a joy to me and to other people, right? So let's practice that. So appreciation and humor, good beginnings, and now we get into the more subtle art of meditation. So meditation is the practice of letting your mind return to a more calm and present state. Sometimes it involves boredom. Sometimes it involves peace. Sometimes you only get to the point where you recognize you're agitated. Sometimes you have bliss. Sometimes you see visions. Sometimes you hear things. Sometimes you wake up to a new reality about yourself. All this can happen in meditation. And one of the things that can happen for those who are beginning in their practice, or even into their practice for some time, is they go, I haven't had a transcendent experience. I'm wondering where all the colors are. So if you're of my vintage, TM was coming along and they had pictures of people in the air meditating. Right? Remember that? TM flyers. And they weren't actually hovering, but it looked like it. And I was so seduced by this idea that I might be lifted off this earth that I thought meditation might be the pathway. Well, it is. However, if you're going for the sensation and for that transcendence, the tendency is you'll put the effort in the wrong place and you won't have the experience. That you must do the practice for the practice sake and let it go where it goes. I did multiple 10-day meditation retreats about 22 years ago. And I did 3 10 days in 6 weeks, which was bad. All of it was bad. It felt terrible. It felt terrible because I was so mentally disturbed that sitting on a flat floor in cross-legged position for 11 hours a day was not a good idea. So sometimes you're not ready to meditate. If your mind is too disturbed to be able to sit in meditation for more than you can handle, then I don't recommend it. I recommend that what you do is you go to humor, attitude adjustment, doing something for other people, getting out of your own mind enough that there's some space for you to meditate. So if you're horribly disturbed, don't do a 10-day meditation retreat where you can't look at people or talk to people or eat when you want to, and all you can do is suffer inside your own mind. I don't recommend it. And this is not completely the humor side, but it was humorously terrible for me. But when you're in a normal state of mind, I think these long meditation retreats are really good for us. Not because you're going to transcend in that 10-day period or 2-month period or whatever, but you're going to deepen in the ability to drop into meditation and to be in a state that is in your parasympathetic nervous system instead of your sympathetic nervous system, so you're moving into a state of peace and calm, and you're beginning to have insight into your life because your mind is not repeating the same story over and over. So this practice of going in long-term meditations, we just did asked people to sit for an hour here for part of our 24-hour thing. And I was talking to someone, and she said, I'm just not used to it anymore. I can do 10 minutes, but this hour thing is a stretch. Well, if you think about it, it's probably true for many of us here, that sitting for an hour seems like a very long time. But if you think how often we repeat the same thing over and over, an hour is not much time to break the habit of being yourself. So let's see if we can extend our meditation time period, either by taking a deep dive for several days at a time, or by just gradually expanding how much time we give to meditation, so that our general state of being begins to be at that deeper flow state, rather than at the agitated I must do or it is happening to me state. The quieting of the body and the mind. Now, if you're doing that, then I think it's really important that you also get some exercise. Because there is a need in the body for the balance as well. So it could be something gentle like yoga or walking, or it could be something more vigorous. But the body needs to be expressed. And I think when you sit too much, it begins to build something bad. I'm not sure what it is, but it ain't good. You know it isn't. If you sit too much, you don't feel right. Exactly. There's just something. And then you tend to go, well, maybe a little sugar would help. Right? And so activity is fundamental for the whole psyche to be in good condition. So the body and the mind talk to each other. And so if you're vigorous in your body and fully expressed in your body, then your mind is going to be in a happier state. So sit absolutely still. Move with vigor is two parts of the same method of releasing that which accumulates. So we've talked about gratitude and humor and meditation and activity. And then for those of you who can handle this, I recommend you get in the woods every day, to go out into nature. There's a tendency in this world to feel the things that we have surrounded ourselves with. You begin to feel your environment. You are part of your environment. And so we begin to feel as our environment is. So I don't really know how people withstand being in prison, especially in solitary confinement? Because they begin to feel the atmosphere that they're in, right? And so if you're in an office or you're in your house even, you begin to feel that. But if you go out into nature, where the system is functioning, where the system of nature is functioning, where things die and their death feeds the next life, and the breath that exhales here is inhaled here, and the roots of the trees are connected and they're sharing information and nutrients. When you're in a place that is alive and healthy, you tend to feel alive and healthy. And the world is now not the other, but you are more part of it. And this realization that the whole of the globe, the whole of this living planet, when allowed, will live vigorously and joyously and robustly, and that if we realize that we are not outside and against, but part of and indeed a piece of that, then I think our whole system will begin to have our original rhythm, its liveliness restored. So getting out into the woods or getting out onto the beach or wherever it is that it sings to you, go to the place where nature can touch you and then be there without the redundant thought of all the things you have to do that happens inside your inside experience. Because most of us work inside, most of us plan and think inside, most of us evaluate ourselves and others inside, most of us chatter in our minds about things inside. Go outside and be in the place where they don't do that. They don't yet. They just exist and grow and expand. And let that be yours. Finally, I'd like to talk about this idea of presencing just everywhere you are. So we did a little meditation today where we focused on the breath. And the idea is to develop concentration. Now, it's a very interesting thing about this method of meditation, that if you really focus, and we may not have had enough time for you to get this experience, but if you really, really focus your attention and hold it there, let's say for 5 minutes, and then at that moment you go expansive, you will feel this incredible spaciousness open up around you. And you become not just your little mindset, not the one that is thinking, and holding on to things, and afraid of things, and remembering things, and planning things, and etc. Your mind stops being all you are and becomes this thing inside of you. Does that make sense? But you have to focus it enough that it is like a balloon expanding when you go out. And you don't have to go out slowly. You can go out rapidly so that you get the contrast of these two ways of being. One in which you're only the mind thinking. Two, you're the presence of all of it. And when you do this a few times, then you can just walk around being the presence. Well, now, if you are the presence, then things are not so personal, are they? They're not about this thinking aspect. Because the personality, as you know, is just a practice of being a certain set of limitations. That's all a thought thing. Your personality is a habit. It's not the truth of who you are. Neither is the thoughts you have the truth of who you are in the big capital T sign, truth. The truth of who you are is this. But habit has constricted us to saying, I am this. So this practice now of meditating on your breath, focus, 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 and then expanding, can give you a practice that you can use as you walk through the day, where you feel yourself as all of this. Pretty cool. And pretty restful. And you have this sense that you're actually in tune with that, because now you're not asking all of that to penetrate in here. You're in where more of you is connected to everything. More of you is part of the big. And so your prayers have a different feel to them. Your intentions have a different connection with all that. You now become more synonymous with that. And so as you pray and feel, so it seems it echoes it back much faster. So there are some ways to work on your spiritual practice. So let us practice now. So let's do a mini compression and a mini expansion. So let's start by really paying attention to our breath. And I recommend that you pay attention to your nose, to the nostrils, to the feel of the breath as it comes into and out of the nose. It's a small area. Let all your attention be there. If the mind wanders at all, bring it back. Sink it. Sink into that experience. And now extend yourself out. Feel yourself the size you are. Let me give you a hint. It's more than the body. So expand out and feel how large you are. Feel how wide your senses are. Your sense of self. And notice how the personality and the focus mind is within it and is not all of it. let us gradually open our eyes and maintain that size, even as we look out the eyes. And so it is.
Thank you, choir. Thank you, thank you. The volunteer group that we are highlighting this week is the choir. This lovely group shares their gift of voice several services during the year, and they also do special concerts. So this year, as Jay said, we are going to have a Christmas concert. So if you would like to join this group and be a part of it and have your heart opened by song, then see Tim or Jay. So we give great thanks to what this group does to enhance our services and all that they do all year round. It's a dedication that requires a lot of their time. So let's give them a big thank you.
Good morning. My name is Tim Oak, and I was asked to do the announcements today. I have some information, but it's going to be more interactive than I think you're used to. So book study sign-ups, the first week in October is when the book studies start, and sign-ups are starting today. So if you are already in a book study group, or you want to join one, or you want to start one, you can sign up outside in the lobby and online as well. There are various times we have a sheet out there that lists which days and times the various groups start at. So we have that. Fall equinox service, interactive part. Has anyone been to those in the past? Good, a couple people have. I have not, but it's coming up, and I'm going to commit to attending this one. The fall equinox service is going to be Thursday, September 22nd, and there will be a celebration afterwards in the fellowship hall, because we're very pleased to announce that the solar panels are now active. So you can feel the light, right? Open mic night this Thursday at 7. That's also in the fellowship hall. Okay. Here's another interactive part. Eccentrics. Does anybody know what eccentrics? All right, we do have some. Good. All right. Well, oh, yeah. So someone said we had a picture, and so we kind of know what it is. But if you're curious, we do have a demo that's going to be held Thursday, September 15th at 2 o'clock in the fellowship hall. And that will answer your questions. What is eccentrics, and how can I join and be a part of this? So we have that. Would the greeters please come up? So, time, talent, and treasure. When we first started coming to this church, I just kind of snuck in. I didn't know anyone, and I'd sit in the back. And I think the first thing I did was I joined the choir. And I think committing to be a part of something, you kind of become part of that family. So when we're not doing choir stuff, just being a part of this and seeing these people with that different connection made it more special. Same thing with book clubs. The first time I joined a book study program, the person running it, that was her first time. And so we have that special connection. We did the Prosperity Plus class a while back and talked about it and made a commitment to do the 10% tithing. And so I'm kind of a procrastinator, but committing to doing something got me involved in becoming that in whatever you're getting into. I think what you'll find is that, for me anyways, it enhanced my experience. So I would ask you to consider making that commitment. If you've been thinking about something or procrastinating, time, talent, treasure. We make donating easy. We'll be passing around the boxes. There are several ways to donate online and by your phone. You can do it out in the lobby. So now let's bless our gifts. The affirmation will be shown on the screen, so please join me together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.